Welcome back, everybody. We're back. It's Men of Order Sports. We got Big Mike Rader in the house. It's AG400 on Twitter if you want to give us follows. And definitely shout out to Big Mike Rader on YouTube as well. Go give him a sub as well. If you're not subscribed here, make sure you subscribe here as well. We're going to talk about the Commanders at the Eagles here. Commanders coming in 8.5-point underdogs, over under set at 43.5. Now, look, 8.5 points for the Eagles here in a divisional game, even though it's at home. That's a tough ask. It's a lot to ask for, but I can see it happening. I think this is a perfect teaser leg here if you want to match it up with somebody else on Sunday or even a Monday night game maybe. But I don't know if I trust the 8.5 fully. I definitely see them winning this game. We're 3-0 on moneyline parlays so far this year. I've been doing every week a moneyline parlay with two teams on the money line, and I think the Eagles, they might be one of those two teams this weekend. I'm still deciding for sure, but they're definitely the top candidate at the moment. They're probably one of the favorites. And minus 420, it's not horrible value if you parlay it with something a little closer. Obviously, the Chiefs are in running, playing against the Jets and things like that. You got the 49ers playing the Cardinals. There's a lot to choose from in this game, but I could definitely see the Eagles covering this 8.5. I can't back that in the divisional game, even though they're at home.
Yeah, I agree with you. It looks like the Eagles can cover it the way they've been playing all season. The defense looks well. The Commanders' offense isn't that great. It's the mixture of the two. The when you mix the two, it's like, okay, Eagles easily covered at 8.5. But you also got to consider, like you said, that division matchup, right? That's what kind of makes it, a little bit like, okay, I got to pause a little bit and really think about it. But this game gets out of hand, which it very well could be, right? Eagles are at home. They've been playing like one of the better teams in the league right now. It could easily get out of hand, and they easily cover the 8.5. So kind of, play with caution. But, we were both kind of leaning towards that Eagles covering this 8.5.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I would say probably just don't take the Commanders plus 8.5. I think that's the best advice we could give here, because they could be in the game towards the end, and then in the fourth quarter, the Eagles just start putting it on, and they end up covering. So yeah, not 100% safe on either side. However, I will say last year it was a very similar situation when the Eagles played the Commanders for the first time Monday Night Football last season. I think it was in Washington, though. I think that might be the big difference here. I don't think it was in Philly, but me and Chad were all over the Commanders on that one. That was the breakout season for the Eagles. That's when we realized, going into that game is when everybody in the, the media and everybody was like, oh, wait, the Eagles are legit. The Eagles are legit. They started hyping them up. And then they lost to the Commanders, who were not supposed to beat them. Taylor Heineke, I think it was out there balling on them. And they lost. I'm pretty sure they lost by like at least a touchdown. I don't even think it was a field goal game. So, I mean, I could see it happening again, but I don't think that this Washington team is ready for that fight right now. I mean, they're 2-1 coming into this game, so they've had a successful season so far. But they beat the Cardinals and they beat the Broncos, who look like absolute dog. You know what I mean? So, I'm not really impressed with that. And then they just got dog walked by the Bills last weekend. So I think this Eagles defense, they perform pretty well. They're especially that front seven. Them going against the Commanders with with this quarterback here, Sam Howell, who's he's got to get some more experience under. If they get pressure on him, it might go south for them pretty fast. So
yeah. I agree. And, looking at props, right? We were just talking about it, DeAndre Swift, Gainwell, Jalen Hurts. It's like, which one of them is they're going to all pop off and get their yardage. They're going to get their issue at some point, right? But as far as touchdowns go, it's tough to go for like a Swift or a Gainwell to score a touchdown. It's usually like if they get in the red zone or you get in that goal line situation, it's a Jalen Hurts show all day, right? That's pretty much what we're looking at, and I think they're going to get this run game going in this game. And looking at the number, touchdown scores. 1 second, it's a minus 120 for anytime touchdown for Jalen Hurts. So that seems pretty. It almost seems like let's go, let's get it, right?
Yeah, it almost seems like that's an auto bet every year this year.
Right.
The only problem with that is if it continues to keep happening, that number is going to get lower and lower and lower. I mean, even week 1, week 2, we were at least still getting plus money on that. But yeah, minus 120 already. If he gets another 1 or 2 this week, man, 2 touchdowns might be plus 100 or minus 120 in a couple weeks. So it's an auto bet for now. But as that line starts getting cooked, I mean, it might just not even be worth running the risk if it's like a minus 200 for the quarterback to score a touchdown. I mean, that's unheard of, but it makes total sense with the way they're running this offense, especially in the red zone. So, yeah, I mean, you can't really safely bet anybody else. You need Swift to break one and not get tackled at the 3-yard line or 5-yard line, because if he does, then it's not his touchdown anymore. It sucks for Swift because this is 2 years in a row of this happening to him. But
it's crazy, man. It's like he goes from one team that is primarily using somebody else in the goal line, and now it's pretty much the same thing. Now it's just a quarterback. So
it was probably even better in Detroit. At least you're bringing in a different running back. Like, all right, I get it. He fits that situation better than I do. Yeah. But you're just giving it to the quarterback now. I would almost rather it be another running back.
Right, definitely.
But, I do think it'll be a big game from the Eagles running game. I think that's why I like them minus 8.5, even though it's so big. I think it's intriguing to me because I think they'll be able to control the game via that rushing attack. And that's due to the fact that the Commanders, their rushing defense just has not been good this year. They're 27th in yards per carry allowed right now, averaging 4.8 yards per carry against them. And the Eagles, they're 5th in yards per carry right now. All three of those guys are doing it well. And they're right around the same number, 4.9 yards per carry. So I definitely see a big day from the running game. Go ahead.
Yeah, and you see it all the time, right? When you're struggling with stopping the run, you're going to struggle on defense in general. So that means you're susceptible to getting play action over the top. You're susceptible to getting the RPO, slant action, vertical. Like it's a bad situation when you can't stop the run. And the problem with that is, from the Eagle side, if you're trying to bet, right, who's going to get off? Who's going to go off this week? Is it Devontae Smith? Is it AJ Brown? Like, which one? So that's kind of like, it's hard to pick whichever one. So for me, it's like, you can't really, for me, I wouldn't bet on either one because anybody can kind of go. It's like almost flipping a coin. Last week it was AJ Brown. The week before it was Devontae Smith. Yep. So they're going to take their turns, and it's hard to tell who's going to kind of go off for a big game. So I would stay away from either one of those two. As far as like yardage or anything like that. Maybe if you look at the receptions, that might be something to look at, but like a touchdown score or anything like that, to me, it's a flip of a coin.
Yeah, I actually totally agree with you there. I'm not looking at the passing game props at all, really, with the Eagles in this game, just because, one, what you just said, great points, obviously, and then also the fact that if they do end up getting a lead, they're just not going to have to pass the ball, really. And, it could be either one of those guys. We haven't seen Dallas Goedert really, really pop off yet this year, so he's due in a way as well. But, I mean, you mentioned the reception, so I got it pulled up right here. Might as well let everybody know. But A.J. Brown set at over under 5.5, and Devontae Smith over under 4.5 for the catches. So, I mean, they're all definitely doable. I just think that, Monday night I was kind of right when we did the Eagles game Monday night. I took a lot of the passing props. So I took A.J. Brown's over. I took Jalen Hurts over. That's what we talked about on the show. That was because I thought that the Bucs would be able to stop them a little bit in the run game, so I figured they would have to go to the pass. They did go to the pass, but the Bucs didn't exactly stop them either. DeAndre Swift still had like 130 yards or whatever it was on the ground. I mean, I say all that to say that, I'm staying away from the passing props because I think this is the opposite situation. I think this is the situation where they're going to just run the ball, try to kill clock a little bit, try to get out of there with a nice, comfortable win, in my opinion. So I am looking at DeAndre Swift over under 64.5 rushing yards. I like the over there. He's had 130 plus in the last 2 games ever since he took over being the lead back. So when they give him the rock, he's producing far this season. And against this Washington defense, like I said, they're allowing 4.8 yards per carry. So even if he's sharing the load with Kenneth Gainwell and Jalen Hurts and things like that, as long as he gets 5 yards a pop on his carries, he can probably hit this 65 rushing yards. So far versus the Commanders, you had James Conner go for 14 carries for 62 yards. DeAndre Swift's got I think 16 and 28 in the last 2 weeks. So he would have hit that number if he got 16 carries. James Conner would have. Russ Wilson for the Broncos, he got 6 carries for 56 yards. He was torching him a little bit in that game, but Javonte Williams didn't really pop off. So, but I mean, what do we expect from the Broncos at this point in time? So I'm not really putting too much weight on that game. And then last week, James Cook, 15 runs for 98 yards as well. So definitely doable. I like Swift here for these yards. Again, not sure about him scoring a touchdown or anything like that. We don't have his rushing attempts number listed yet, but that would be something I might stab to if they give us a good number. But yeah, so yeah, I definitely like DeAndre Swift over 64.5 rushing yards. That's my favorite prop in this game.
Yeah, I like it too. And let's kind of flip over to the Commander side, right? Just to talk a little bit. If things kind of get out of hand, right, they're gonna have to pass the ball. Two things I like in that situation: Terry McLaurin, kind of going over the yards, going over his yards mark. I have it right here. It's over 54.5. It's a -110. I do like that. And then touchdown scores. If the Eagles defense gets going, they get in a situation where they have to, they're ahead and they can pin their ears back and get after that quarterback. They do it the best, one of the best in the league to get after it. Get Howell kind of throwing errant passes or cause a fumble or throw an interception. Something to consider. It's kind of a flyer, but Eagles defense to score anytime score is a +550. It might be worth kind of just looking at, having a little fun with it and kind of seeing how the game goes and put a bet down on that one for that.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it. I could see it definitely.
Yeah.
No, I thought I was on mute. My bad. I pressed it earlier. Yeah, no, I could definitely see it happening because that defense, they're ferocious, so they can definitely get after it. And yeah, you don't trust Sam Howell against that pass rush really to not make a mistake. You gotta think he's good for at least one, if not two mistakes. And maybe the Eagles can cash that in for a touchdown. So yeah, I could definitely see it happening. The other thing I would look at is Terry McLaurin's catches. I mean, over 3.5 you can get on FanDuel for -172. Terrible price there, but you can get on BetMGM a -110 on over 4.5 right now, as of right now. So we'll see how that number moves. It's something I would consider because I do think if they get into the mode where they have to pass, I think he's going to be the pivotal guy. He's the guy that Sam Howell will be looking for to kind of make him a little more comfortable. It might not be downfield. They might not be getting too far. They might not be getting first downs doing it. But I could definitely see him being good for like a catch per drive towards the end of the game if they have to pass, mostly. Right. So
yeah,
that's something else I would consider.
Yeah, definitely. And I've been a little cold on predicting the first touchdown score. I'm ice cold right now.
Started off hot though. There's ups and downs, man. It's a long season.
Yeah, so we're right in the middle, right? But the only guy that I'm really looking at is Jalen Hurts' first touchdown score. I mean, that's the only one that makes sense.
That's probably juice too. What is that?
It's +500.
Yeah, see, I mean, just think about that, man. A quarterback to score the first touchdown and it's only +500. You got tight ends going for +1700 sometimes and whatnot. I mean, it's crazy,
right?
But it makes sense. It makes sense. It adds up. So
yeah. Other than that, that's all I got as far as that goes.
Yeah, no, me as well. Yeah, so I definitely love DeAndre Swift. There's -8.5. I could see it. If I had to guess, I would say over 43.5. I don't know. Would you agree there? I mean, I feel like if anything, the Eagles will at least put it on. And I feel like the Commanders, can backdoor, maybe 10 points towards the end of the game. If not, then, I mean, if they're not in the game, throughout the whole game, obviously. So
yeah, if I had to do the math for it to be over 43, because I'm looking at like the Eagles scoring about 27 points.
Okay.
So
you're at that point,
kind of going under. Yeah. I don't see the Commanders scoring much.
I would agree with that.
So 27-10, 27-13. That's probably about 40 points. So maybe just under. I don't like either side. I don't love going on either way. So yeah, it's tough for me to pick over under for this one.
Yeah, no, I definitely wouldn't make it a pick, but so the Eagles total points is set at over under 26.5. So you're right there on the money. That was
just off the top of my head.
I was about to say, I don't know if you looked first, but that was sharp off the top of the head. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then so obviously they got the Commanders price right around that 16 too. So yeah, I definitely I'm thinking, maybe the Eagles can pop off for like 30 and maybe, the other two touchdowns come from the Commanders, possibly. But I mean, that's another one I would maybe think about teasing down and pairing it up with a couple other over-unders somewhere else throughout the slate on Sunday. But, yeah, I think that's a big teaser play here for the Eagles if you have another partner that you want to match them with for a teaser. And then I definitely like them in the money line parlay. They're probably going to be featured in that. But follow us on Men of Order Sports on Twitter, MOO_sports on Twitter. And, we'll definitely update with that money line parlay on Sunday morning as we figure out exactly who we want to take. But I'm pretty sure the Eagles are going to be on that list.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
But other than that, we're going to be back. Me and Big Mike are going to be back for a few more games. We got the Ravens and Browns lined up. We're going to do the Raiders, of course, because we got Big Mike Raider in the house. You got to do the Raiders every week. You know what I mean? And then we got the Bills and Dolphins too. I think that's going to be a fun one. So definitely hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, turn on the post notifications, share it with a friend. Let's all eat this weekend. Best of luck betting, everybody. Peace.
Peace.